Howdy, Hydra here. Welcome to the week one benchmark. This week was all about chords and chord progressions. But before we get into the process of making the song, I did want to use this video as a sort of guideline to show how the other videos will be structured. Now, to start, this is recorded after the song was made because I forgot to record an intro when making it. So, hopefully, this will be the only time I do that. But the structure is going to start with one, inspirations, the reason why I got to the sound and why I made it. Then it'll flow into the breakdown, where I'll break down each chord and what scale I'm using. Then we'll go into what I was thinking at the time, and we'll end off on what I see for strengths and weaknesses of this first track and where I can improve. If I need to do any voiceover stuff, that'll be indicated with this little guy here. This is a hat made by my cousin. I could like to call this hat the producer hat, as I've worn it through the entirety of this week, making songs and learning how to make songs. So, yeah, now that that's over, let's jump right into it. Usually, I'll have one to two here, but unfortunately, I didn't have one at the time. So, I was following along with a YouTube guide on songwriting. A link will be in the description to it, along with other videos. But I was sort of in this stun lock state of like the feeling of needing to get things done and panic on what happens if I didn't do it. And while I was doing while I was in that state, I noticed that the guy was doing this feathering thing with the keys. And for whatever reason, that just kind of snapped me out of it for a little bit, like just enough to where I was actually able to not only learn the chords that he was doing and like the techniques that he was using, but also that feathering thing that he was doing. It I did have a little bit of fun with it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, going into the breakdown of things, the scale that I'm using is the C major scale, and the chords show as follow. Honestly, what was going through my head while making this was things like, can I really do this? Is this going to be another short term obsession? But getting the notes down onto the piano roll and having a friend who was with me near the end of making the song after I had done a couple things really just kind of showed me how much I actually enjoy doing this. Like, I spent 5 whole days learning things like scales, progression, how the circle of fifths work, key terms like attack, decay, release, LFO, overload, and the biggest battle I had making this was just in my head. It was that tiny voice that was saying shit like, you know, are you even really cut out for this? Like stuff like that. And, after I learned that feathering technique, everything just kind of came forth. You know what I mean? It just kind of it was kind of like a domino effect almost. And the tone really brought this feeling that I couldn't describe until my friend who was helping me called it nostalgic in a way. Like the feeling of waking up for school on a muggy, like foggy day. And that really did kind of stick with me. And I think that is a totally valid explanation of what I was feeling at the time. Um, Even though the song is only a minute long, it was really hard to put together. It it felt impossible to do with so little knowledge that I had, but honestly, I'm really excited to show you. So I'm happy to finally show you Dissonance. That's the name I came up with in the shower. I hope you enjoy, and feedback is the most important thing. Criticism, if it's creative and actually constructive, is also most welcome too. If you have any advice to share, let me know. And if you like the song, don't be afraid to hit the little thumbs up and show your support. Uh, but yeah, enjoy. Honestly, for my first real attempt, I give it a 2 out of 5. Nothing is perfect, but I really do like the sound of it. How soft and vibey it is. It gives this feeling of being lost, yet still having some guidance through the fog. It's imperfect and somewhat unkempt. Having said that, though, it's lacking heavily in some areas. I really got to learn EQ and tuning, as the tail end of some of those notes go on for way too long. They're incredibly wobbly too, and also the rhythm can be way better, especially in some of the aspects. And another thing, increasing the length of the song to at least 2 minutes. I think that I could have gotten a little bit more if I gave myself more time. But other than that, thank you for joining me today. Have yourself a great rest of your morning, afternoon, and or night. See you all next time. Bye.